Hi everyone, this is audap. Let's continue our game of Her World running on the Steam Deck. Okay, what are we at here? 55. Sure is.
진짜로?
Yep. Yuna staggers over to me, reaching with both hands for my cheeks. She pulled and pulled. It really is me.
언제 왔어?
I've been here for some time, just in another world.
그래. 그렇구나.
Yuna's face flushed red and...
어떡해? 안 다쳤어?
She suddenly jumped at me, looking flustered. You just grazed me.
진짜 미안해. 난 그러니까...
You didn't get me with a knife, so calm down. Yuna was looking at the pink line in my forehead and with utmost concern. It did hurt, and that blade did almost get me, but it was so nice to hear a sincere apology for a change. Wasn't it more common these days to see someone double down on their anger when they got caught doing something wrong?
야, 왜 엘리베이터로 안 왔어?
It just kind of happened this way.
진짜 찌를 뻔했잖아.
Which was very scary, by the way. Yuna let out a long sigh and put away her knife. She looked me right in the eye, seeming to have calmed down. It had only been a day, but there was a warmth in her gaze, as if she had been wanting to see me. Looks like you missed me, huh?
아니, 오늘은 안 오는 줄 알았는데 갑자기 와줘서
Yuna gave me an awkward smile as she scratched her cheek. Then her expression suddenly hardened. I got a glimpse of her face reflected in the broken mirror next to me. Speaking of which, with the hat and the pants and all, she looked completely different. I decided to start with a compliment. Before I could, Yuna grabbed me by the shoulder and spun me around. What are you doing?
보지 마.
Yuna was holding both my cheeks, making sure I couldn't turn. I really dig the new look.
보지 말라니까.
I could feel the bill of her hat touch my back. Then her hands naturally drifted down to my waist and... he must not have any makeup on.
아직 아니다. 응? 혼자 진도 빼지 마.
Come on, why are you being like that? Everything between us, with everything between us.
우리 사이니까 더.
Her arms tightened around my waist. I could feel her shaking. I really wanted to see the look on her face, but then I abandoned the thought, imagining she wouldn't talk to me for some time if I did. After a while, things finally went back to normal. Yuna was back in her usual look. The other style was really cool, but it seemed like she didn't want to show it off. In the end, I decided to stay quiet on that subject.
그러니까 장난스러웠다곤 해도 나한테 고백한 바로 다음 날에 여학생을 헌팅했단 말이지.
That was her response to everything I told her about what had happened earlier in the day. That's right. It wasn't the sort of prowl she was alluding to, but the word fit.
걔를 하루 종일 안고 다닌 거야?
Not really all day.
소감이 어때?
I can tell you, kids these days have no manners.
그렇다고 팔을 뽑을 건 없잖아.
I did it while saving her. Yuna squinted at me inside. I left out the part about bringing Yuri to the hospital room in this world. Yuri had said something bad was going to happen if she got caught.
또 그렇게 위험한 짓이나 하고.
Sorry. Still, I wasn't hurt.
내가 객기 부리지 말랬지.
Yep.
그러다 빨리 죽는다니까.
She saved me a few times now, so I really had no excuse for my actions. I had to start being more careful. However, there was something more important than finding out about Yuri. I explained it to Hyuna in detail.
거울도 한계점이라.
Surprised me too.
네가 그쪽으로도 넘어갈 수 있단 말이지?
Another surprising fact. Hyuna crossed her arms and considered all that, her expression showing how serious she took this. If Yuri entered into that world of mirrors, that meant there was an entrance there. We didn't know if Hyuna could use it, but it gave us a possible alternative to going through the rainy world. It's a lot easier to move around there than in the rainy world. It's in the city, and there's no rain.
그 유리라는 애 믿을 수 있어?
She's a bit of a schemer, but it's easy to figure her out because she's pretty sloppy.
하자.
Hyuna massaged her head as she thought. It looked like there was a lot for her to sort through.
아마도 그쪽에 있던 파편을 모아오면 나도 들어갈 순 있을 거야.
We can assume that Yuri has a bunch of emotional scars too.
그게 조건이니까.
So what we need to get through that world.
비 오는 세계랑 똑같겠지.
Come to think of it, she told me I'd have to tempt Wooby. Would I need to tempt Yuri too? No way. Then first, should I give you the shards from the school world? There weren't all that many, but... Hyuna undid a button and stuck her chest out to me. I carefully moved my arm to that spot. Wooby and Yuri just used their hands and arms. What exactly did Hyuna have to do it this way? And why did it take such a strangely amount of time, or why did it take such a long amount of time? While I gave her the shards, Hyuna seemed to think about this and that before looking at me and asking a question.
넌 어떻게 생각해? 그쪽이 더 안전한 방향이라면.
The rainy world. Pros. Been through half of it. Hyuna can advise me as I go. Wooby is cute. Cons. Always raining. Enemies are terrifying. Connection cuts off when I meet Wooby. The mirror world. Pros. No rain. Indoors, except for certain times. Enemies seem relatively easy. Cons. Instant death when I'm dragged into a mirror. Enemies out on a large-scale offensive. Yuri's abrasive. Each had their pluses and minuses. I'll think about it.
네가 들어갈 거니까 신중하게 결정해. 다치면 나 때문이니까.
Hyuna let out another sigh.
그나저나 거울 안에서 날 스토킹하는 애가 있었을 줄은.
Right, kids these days.
이쁜 건 안다니까.
Hyuna put a hand on her cheek and tried to look cute. She spoke like what she said was a given. I wanted to question her overconfident self-assessment, but her pretty face convinced me otherwise. The evidence was far too strong.
뭐야? 왜? 여중 여고 나오면 그런 애들 가끔 있다니까?
True.
남중 남고에도 있지 않아?
Nope. Never. Hyuna laughed and strolled over to lace one of her arms into mine like it was the most natural thing ever and led me off. I felt her touch, just a hair cooler than others, and smiled and smelled her special scent. It was stronger than ever. Her long hair tickled my arm. It was such a nice feeling, but it also felt like she had a strong hold on me for some reason. What are you up to?
싫어?
No, I do.
그럼 가만히 있어.
All right. She spoke bluntly, as if we were already a couple. She hugged my arm tightly and put the other hand to my waist and leaned her head against my shoulder. Her eyes were peering, not at me, but instead at a cracked mirror across the hall. I emptied my mind, focusing on the temperature of her body as we walked. Before I knew it, we were standing in front of the mirror. Come to think of it, Yuri was able to cross the boundary if I carried her. The shards I gave her were enough to get her through. So shouldn't Hyuna be able to do that too? We were already arm in arm. With that thought in mind, I gently grabbed hold of Hyuna.
야,
Just like I had done with Yuri, I pushed myself against the glass.
뭐해?
Instead of a strong wind blocking me, it felt solid like a wall. I didn't push hard enough to get anyone hurt, but that was pretty hard to do when carrying a person like a package anyway. Just to make sure the boundary was still there, I pushed my hand through and it went without a problem. But every time I tried to go through with Hyuna, it wouldn't let me. Did we not have enough shards?
야, 갑자기 왜 그래?
Hyuna was looking at me with those big eyes of hers. Her cheeks were flushed. I realized that I was basically trying to push her against the wall. Her slightly flustered look was quite funny to see. I must have just wanted to launch a counterattack after assault of her arm invading mine. I gazed softly into her eyes. She isn't backing away. She's just standing there smiling at me. She got up on her tiptoes, pushing her lips towards mine and closing her eyes. What? She wants to do that here? Now? I carefully examined the mood she was setting. Now that the tone was set, it would be rude not to accept the offer. Miss Hyuna. I put my left hand to her cheek. I bent down, bring my face to hers.
야, 꼴려?
Poof! I burst out laughing at the unexpected response. Then I jumped backward.
70점 정도야.
I'd rather you didn't score me.
사인을 주자마자 응하는 건 좋은데 너무 반사적이잖아. 평소에 누가 그러라고 시킨 것처럼.
I had nothing to respond with.
좀 더 자연스럽게 반응해봐. 연상을 쓰러뜨리기엔 넌 아직 멀었어.
Wow.
오히려 쓰러뜨려지는 게 더 빠를 것 같은데?
Hyuna feigned an attack. Let's see how long I'll let you get away with that.
귀여워.
Even though Hyuna was here with me, this hallway didn't really feel as safe as her hideout. Hyuna put a hand on my chest and gave me a light push.
잘 알겠지?
What? She was looking not at me, but through the mirror once more. She looked a little frightened. I saw someone in white sneakers disappear quickly from the mirror. I thought I did, at least. As I looked through the mirror at the darkening world, I shook out my limbs. The rainy world, the bloody feet, the thing that moved just like me, and the red raincoat. I had a sense of what Hyuna meant when she told me to tempt Wooby. If I wasn't able to get Hyuna out through the rainy world, maybe I could persuade Wooby to head out to the outside world first. Then, if Wooby's world disappeared, maybe the route to Hyuna's entrance would open up. Right when I pulled out the sportswear and raincoat, Hyuna's eyes went wide.
저기, 야,
What?
뭐해?
Getting ready for today's challenge run.
챌린지?
I want to go take another look at the rainy world first. Hyuna looked puzzled, but why?
저기, 야,
Yes?
시간이 많이 늦어서 그런데 오늘은 그냥 돌아가지?
Hmm? It was getting late. My eyesight's pretty good at night. If I just had a little look around.
아니, 그게...
Yuna grinned. There was a mischievous tinge to her smile. Most of the time she looked like that, she was about to tell a scary story. Was she really... Miss Yuna? Does this place get more dangerous at night?
12시 지나면.
Her grin was a wide smile now. It looked like she was enjoying herself.
바깥 세상에서도 밤이 되면 여러 가지 성질들이 뒤집히잖아? 이쪽도 마찬가지야. 낮보다 밤 쪽이 몇 배는 대응하기 어려워.
How have you lasted this long?
뭐 그냥 병실에서 문 꼭 닫고 안 나가면 돼.
That's all you have to do?
스스로 문을 여는 녀석은 아직 못 봤거든. 이쪽 세계에서 문이란 건 특별한 의미가 있는 것 같아.
Ah. Were they somehow related to the boundaries? Hyuna slid up to me and said her next words softly.
근데 열게 만들려고 속이는 건 몇 번 봤어. 똑똑똑. 아파. 문 열어줘.
Hyuna scratched the wall with her nails, making a screeching sound. Please don't do that. That's not funny.
난 재밌는데.
I had a mental breakdown when it was bright outside, so I couldn't think of any reason to venture out into the even scarier night.
뭐 그런 것도 있고. 네가 한계점을 넘어 다닐 수 있는 현상이 여기서 12시를 넘긴다는 행위에 영향을 받을지도 모른다고 생각해서.
Testing her hypothesis carried a great deal of risk. At night, I'll just head home then.
그렇게
Hyuna looked like she understood. But after hearing all that, I was worried about Hyuna having to endure all that alone. I understand you have your countermeasures in place, but even with those, aren't you having a little bit too much fun?
어? 티났어?
Very easily.
그야 밤에는 잘 수 있으니까.
Hyuna hummed an old tune, clearly enjoying herself, and pointed to a hospital bed covered by blankets. They were piled on thick as if she'd raided them from other rooms.
낮에도 어떻게든 자려고 노력했었지만 결국은 한계가 오거든. 그냥 낮에는 깨어 있다가 밤에만 푹 자는 게 제일 낫다는 결론에 이르렀어.
I couldn't quite follow what she was trying to say. So you're saying that you enjoy sleeping? For the first time, I felt that I was perceiving my conversations with Hyuna differently. I understood the gist of what she was saying, but why did she enjoy that so much? I couldn't stop thinking about that. I guess she just enjoyed sleeping.
뭐 그렇게 됐으니까 오늘은 이만 돌아가도록 해. 더 늦어지면 엘리베이터까지 가는 것만으로도 위험할 테니까. 지금 한계점 너머에 도전하는 건 엄두도 못 내.
Sorry, I came pretty late, huh?
솔직히 말하면
Hyuna suddenly looked lonely.
네가 안 돌아오는 건 아닐까 생각했어. 그런 일을 겪고 그렇게 다쳤으니까.
Trust me.
적어도 오늘은 안 올 줄 알았는데. 그래서 모자 쓰고 있었는데.
I told you it really suits you.
네가 그렇게 생각한다고 다가 아니야.
Even though I was on vacation from school, I still had a life. I had no idea what sleeping in this world might trigger.
그렇게 다른 세계의 풍경을 알게 되고 나면 그 다음엔 뭘 시킬 것 같아요?
I've heard some things today that were a little odd. I think I need some time alone to consider everything. Then, think about why Hyuna likes sleeping so much. Going back to my home meant that Hyuna would be alone in this world again. Even though it was the same with Wooby and Yuri, we weren't that close, and there was a boundary separating us. Hyuna gripped the hem of my shirt, as she always did when I turned to go. Considering that fact, I can understand why she enjoyed sleeping so much. Hey, Miss Hyuna.
응?
I turned to her. When I leave, will you go straight to bed?
그건 왜 물어봐?
Please answer.
아직 자기엔 좀 이르고 저녁이나 먹을까 했지.
What will you have for dinner?
전에 말했잖아. 병원 매점 쪽으로 내려가면 신기하게도 빵이나 과자 같은 게 안 썩고.
That's dinner?
그러니까. 아니, 잠깐만. 야! 엘리베이터 닫히는데?
Eating too much flour will make you lose all your muscle mass.
여기서 안 굶어 죽는 게 어디야?
I figured you'd say as much. I took a cooking set and a bunch of ingredients from the bag I packed them in and said, "Do you have any allergies of foods you can't eat?" Okay, was there any of these that I needed to do? Already cleared. 5 shards. I mean, I don't particularly like these quests. I don't really think they made fun gameplay here, but, you know, it seems like you need shards to unlock new content, so it sort of makes sense to go after them. There's something coming. Oh god, they're fast. I'm getting hung up on stuff too. Okay. It doesn't say if I cleared anything. So, this is an excuse. It's just an excuse to delay heading back. Frozen chicken legs are your best friends when you live alone, except for the times when I have to switch to chicken breasts. It's definitely my go-to choice of meat. They would have been perfect in an air fryer, but in this world I had to rely on a gas burner. It wasn't a matter of calories, I just prefer them baked. Making the seasoning was easier than one might think, but the recipes online were always lacking something. It was better to buy real sauces, compare the flavors, and then add some other ingredients. I also mixed some brown sauce for cooked eel with mayonnaise and plated it. I got bored with just one sauce. I opened a package of pickled radish they always sold with fried chicken and set it to the side. Then I shucked a few ears of corn, grilled them over the flame, and topped them with butter and cheese. The rice I had just put in an airtight container, and the beer, I'd packed them next to an ice pack, but they were all shaken up now. Miss Yuna, could you take these, lie them on their sides, and slowly roll them back and forth? If you do that, there'll be less foam. Yuna rolled the cans as I said, her eyes filling with curiosity. However, those eyes didn't leave the cooking chicken.
저게 뭐야?
I'm making you chicken. I thought about buying some pre-made meals, but I figured it's probably been a while since you ate anything homemade.
맞아.
I just picked some beers from the 5 pints for 10 section, or 5 pints for 10 section. I brought some sodas too.
아니, 그러니까 난...
Yuna was stammering in a way I'd never seen before. Her laid-back attitude was nowhere to be seen, replaced by someone who looked like a freshman on her first club outing. What of it? If I were living off carbs through this long and if I were living off carbs for this long and suddenly saw chicken and beer, I'd probably have a similar reaction. I think it's ready. You can eat now. She was about to go for one of the sodas when she hesitated. Then she carefully picked up a can of beer. The carbonation hadn't settled yet, so it overflowed with foam. I pulled out a few tissues and handed them to her. Yuna had that same curious look in her eyes as she took a small sip of beer. She didn't even wait to cheers before taking a drink. She closed her eyes and made a face as she got through the first bitter taste. She looked like a person having her first beer. If you're not one to hold your liquor, you don't need to...
아니, 괜찮아.
She took another gulp. She closed her eyes again and made a face. It was really awkward to watch. It was so different from everything I had seen up until that point that it actually left me confused. Then she grabbed a chicken leg, dipped it, hand trembling, into the sauce and brought it to her mouth. Miss Yuna? For a while she said nothing.
야,
Yes?
대체 왜 이제서야 내 눈앞에 나타난 거야?
For a moment the image she'd built up to that point shattered as she stuffed her face with chicken. Is it good? You're going to choke if you keep on like that. Slow down.
지금까지 내가 먹고 산 건 대체?
You really had it rough. When Yuna saw me looking, she covered her mouth with both hands and turned away, seemingly returning to her senses. Then one hand went back with the chicken. After a while, she went back to eating, maintaining the image she normally put out, but she still looked away because her face was red. I could see tears forming in the corners of her eyes. Yeah, maybe you should be getting to bed. I handed a handkerchief to her.
안 울었어.
Swallow your food and finish your tears.
안 울었다니까. 아, 진짜.
This woman, she was desperately pretending to act like an adult when, in fact, she was totally like a child. If there's anything else you'd like to eat, I'll buy the ingredients and bring them next time. Or maybe just pack some meals next time? Setting all this up and doing the dishes here is sort of a chore.
다른 것도 할 줄 알아?
I can make any basic foods you might find in a cafeteria. Hyuna grabbed a hold of my shoulders.
야,
Yeah?
나한테 시집 올래?
Yeah?
아니, 잠깐만.
I grinned and Hyuna jumped backward.
너 갈수록 여유롭게 대처하네. 그게 원래 네 성격이지?
You really took the nuclear option with that marriage proposal just a second ago.
아, 진짜.
Hyuna covered her flushing face with both hands. She was letting her guard down left and right today.
내가 너무 성급했어. 그러니까 무효.
How sad.
진정하자. 진정.
She must have gotten quite the shock from eating a fresh meal after so long without. Plus, it was clear she was a little tipsy after just one beer. After cleaning off the plates, clearing off the plates, so doing the dishes would be as simple as possible.
요리 어디서 배웠어?
Hyuna had her hand to her forehead as she asked. Before I knew it, she was sipping her next beer. You learn to cook a few simple things living alone.
그런가?
And I did work at a cafeteria for a time.
아이, 그럼 배운 거잖아.
I guess I did. Hyuna put an arm around my shoulders and had a hearty laugh. She was expressing her emotions far more than usual. She was a cute drunk.
어떡하지?
Hyuna put her hands to her cheeks with an audible smack.
나 오늘은 망가지는 모습만 보였네.
That side has its charms too.
야,
Wasn't it you who suggested to get to know each other more?
그래도 이런 건
I opened my arms wide, signaling that I wanted a hug.
야,
Yeah?
지금 누나가 만만하지?
Just today.
이게 진짜
Doing that again? I couldn't help but wonder why. Hyuna kept tugging at my cheeks like that. So soft. Her smooth black hair caressed my body, my arm. It wrapped all around me. Her warm body was pressed up against my chest. The arm she had wrapped around my back held me tight against her. Miss Hyuna. I couldn't just stay still, so I hugged her even tighter. It felt different from the last time we hugged. It was like we didn't want to part. I could really feel the affection in our embrace.
이래도 만만해?
Hyuna grinned at me again, looking like she'd won a battle. Nope. I admit it, you're not such a pushover. She gave me a wide smile. Her arms squeezed me tight. Hyuna took the first round with her tight hug. If I wanted to win, I was going to have to take the next round. Before anything, I peered at the mirrors next to us to make sure we didn't have our stalker looking on. Then I lowered my head a bit to plant a kiss on top of Hyuna's forehead. You don't want me to?
아니, 싫은 건 아닌데.
My left hand went down Hyuna's arm and our fingers intertwined.
야,
Her hair exuded that sweet fragrance. After the forehead, I went to the side of her head, and then my lips grazed her ear.
야, 잠깐만.
I picked Hyuna up gently and moved to her bed. It was clear that the situation was making her a bit flustered, but she didn't resist much, surrendering herself to my arms. With my left hand still intertwined in hers, I moved my right hand to brush against her cheek. Oh, that looks like I'm poking her eye out. Unlike her relatively cool body, her breath was warm. She felt closer than ever before. Her gaze wavered, as if she had had too much to drink, but those eyes kept gazing into mine. Miss Hyuna. Are you okay?
그게... 이럴 거면 나 샤워라도 하고...
I just asked if you were okay. Hyuna looked at me, her cheeks bright red, and...
괜찮아.
In the face of that slightly tipsy gaze of hers, I relaxed my arm. I brought my lips closer to hers, and... She's trembling. I'm just realizing that now. It was clear that she wasn't opposed to all this, but this must have been the first time she'd given her body over to someone else. It was clearly frightening her. Seeing Miss Hyuna so different from her normal, relaxed self, I almost felt like a sadist. I had to do whatever I could to calm myself down. In any other situation, I wouldn't have hesitated. But... Maybe she wanted more time, but was afraid I wouldn't try again if she refused my advances, and that was why she was holding back her fear. I know how she feels because I've been in her position. It's a horrible feeling. I wanted to make her feel safe, so this felt like putting the cart before the horse in some ways. How about we put this off until after we get her out of here safely? I never expected this would happen so soon.
Yeah.
I rolled to the side and let her rest her head on my arm. I caressed her cheek gently with my other hand. Hyuna was still gazing at me, her face glowing. I felt like I could see a question mark floating next to her head. Before, you said you enjoy sleep, right? Is that because you like to dream? In this empty world, where these mysterious beings come to get you to open the door, in this strange world where the infrastructure still operates somehow. Miss Hyuna, when you sleep, you can dream. When you dream...
혼자가 아니니까.
She put her head to my chest. I could hear a small gasp. Miss Hyuna.
꿈을 꾸면 누군가가 나오잖아. 그럼 대화도 할 수 있고 안아볼 수도 있어.
I held her a little tighter.
그런데 눈을 뜨면 그게 전부 다 꿈이고 이쪽이 현실이더라고. 알아. 그냥 도망칠 뿐이라는 거. 그런데 어쩔 수 없잖아. 여기선 누군가의 온기를 느낄 방법이 없어. 조금이라도 의지하려 들었다간 그런 걸로 속이려 드는 괴물만 가득해서.
Hyuna's voice was so shaky it sounded like it might crack. I put my arms gently around her shoulders. And I held her without a word. I held her more tightly than I'd ever held anyone else. I could feel Hyuna's breath on my neck. I could hear her sobs. It sounded like she was fighting back the tears.
고마워.
I'm the one who should be thankful. We stayed like that for a while, holding each other, until the darkness beyond the clouds swallowed up the last of the dying light. I said I'd stay the night with you.
안 돼.
If you draw a line, I promise not to cross it.
내가 넘어가서 안 돼.
I'd be okay with that.
거봐. 이래서 안 된다니까?
After some time, we were back in front of the elevator again. Hyuna was right up next to me, her hands covering her face. I think we were comfortable enough to just fall asleep back there, no?
저기... 야!
You? Hyuna was tapping my chest, that look of desperation back on her face.
나... 아직은 누나 대접 받고 싶어. 안 그래도 오늘 이미지 많이 망가뜨렸는데. 같이 자면 네 품에 안겨서 밤새도록 푸념할 것 같단 말이야.
I'm okay with that.
내가 안 괜찮아. 그리고 그렇게까지 하면 나 정말로 너 안 놔줄.
Huh?
아니, 아무것도 아니야.
Yuna was looking the other way as she pushed me towards the elevator. Her expression was akin to her looking at a fresh cream cake when she was on a diet.
빨리 안 가면 이 복도도 위험해져. 그러니까
If that was the case, well... I tried to sneak in one more hug. So, tomorrow.
일찍 와. 평소보다 일찍.
Hmm?
깨어나도 안 없어진다는 말까지 했으니까. 자기가 한 말엔 책임을 져야지.
Well, doesn't sound that hard to pull off. The elevator door opened. The sky was dark through the nearby window. Were the buses still going to be running? Hyuna waved goodbye. Right when the doors began to close, her other hand grabbed the hem of my shirt. Honestly, it was really unfortunate. But it all seemed to have gone all right. She certainly seemed to have enjoyed herself. Was it okay to say we were dating now? Even though I had made an internal decision that I should get her out of here first, it really felt like we weren't going to be able to hit the brakes with all this. The inside of the elevator turned red again. That first time had been so scary. Now it just felt like it was a transfer station, as though I were switching trains. I used the time to think about everything that had happened today. First of all, I knew I didn't need to be so wary of Yuri. In the end, I confirmed she was no spirit, but a girl who was peering this way from the school world. Also, she couldn't cross over alone. From her suddenly asking if we were friends, she seemed to have an agenda in all this. But honestly, she wasn't much of a match for me, so I didn't see the need to be concerned. I didn't even have a chance to meet Wooby, who I was apparently supposed to tempt. When I really stopped to think about it, she was the most mysterious person here. We hadn't even really had much of a chance to talk. However, where did she even go? She said she wanted to go play with me. For some reason, I felt like she knew me, the face within that red raincoat. Had I met her somewhere? I felt like I had learned quite a lot. However, with how cute Hyuna was acting while she was tipsy, I didn't have time to get a grasp on all that had happened. I had to get a good night's sleep and then think about everything. The elevator rattled. I thought I might arrive and turned my head to see. There was Yuri through the mirror. She started with a sigh. What are you doing here? I'm just catching a ride home. I smirked as I joked with her, but then I went stiff when I saw Yuri looking down. Hey, have you been crying?
울긴 누가요?
Yuri gave me a brisk answer and turned away. She had definitely been crying. Did her arm hurt that bad? Or maybe... What happened after I left? Tell me.
말하기 싫어요.
Come on.
아, 상관도 없으면서 들어서 뭐하게요?
Do you expect me to believe that the person who came all this way to find someone leaving, the person with the puffed up eyes, doesn't want to talk? Stop being a brat.
진짜.
What did I say before? Don't beat around the bush. If something is bothering you, just come out with it.
왜 그 언니랑 사귀는 것처럼 굴어요?
She really came out with it. I told her about my feelings for her yesterday. Did you miss that part?
진지하게 고백한 거 아니잖아요. 게다가 차였고.
She saw it all. Quite intuitive, this one. Wait, did she see us flirting with each other before? We were just using this time to get to know each other, so...
좋아하면 그냥 사귀던가. 남주긴 싫다고 침 발라놓는 게 뭐하는 짓이래? 애매하게 굴지 말고 확 밀어붙이지 그래요?
Oh, to be young again. I was just like her back in middle school. The situation is complicated. Honestly, we've only known each other for a few days. Plus, she's stuck in this strange world. At the very least, I don't want to force her into a position where she feels she has to stay, or she has to say yes because she's afraid I won't help her anymore. It didn't seem like there were others able to cross the boundary so freely. It's possible that I was the only one able to help Yuna. I didn't want to be the reason she stayed at my side. If you put two people together and force them to act like they're in love, well, I knew the end of that story. We're going to get it out of her first, then give it some serious thought. We might get out of here and realize we don't like each other.
쫄보.
You'll understand when you're an adult.
쫄보.
You have no idea how rare it is for those first feelings in a relationship to last. Though sometimes they do grow into something deeper.
오그라들어.
Could you please learn how to be less derogatory when you speak?
알죠? 근데 오빠한테 왜?
The light in the elevator went from red to white. It seemed like things were going back to normal. I waved my hand over the mirror. Yuri just turned her head a bit.
나도 이런 이상한 세상에 있는 사람이에요.
Huh?
그냥 그렇다고요.
With those cryptic words, she turned and left. New content unlocked, huh? Well, that being said, why don't we stop it there? This is audap. You've been watching Her World, running on the Steam Deck. Yeah, we're getting the more romance-y parts of this visual novel than the horror parts, which I thought there would be more of. But you know, I'm fine with either one. I'm sure there's going to be more horrific stuff that goes on. I mean, it's a Korean visual novel. If anything, Korean storytellers are known for a vast array of emotions in the context of a greater story. So I guess maybe I shouldn't be surprised at these turn of events. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed watching. I will see you at the next stream.